Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is FPL Elmo. So we're going to be going through my Gameweek 31 Wildcard draft, my Gameweek 31 team selection, and my Gameweek 30 team review. That is how we perform in Gameweek 30. And yeah, before we get into that, if you're new around here and enjoying the content, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, share, hit that bell. You don't miss any content going up on this channel. And without wasting any much time, let's get straight into it. So first, we're going to go through my Gaming 30 team review. I wanted to score 52 points and I came over points to 2038 and a small green arrow, but we take it regardless of around 1000 places or 500 places in between there. So we take that. And yeah, so we had Flecken who only scored 1 point. Unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of save points this week. Then you had Van Hecke, Gabriel, and Munoz all blanking 1, 1, and 2 respectively. Unfortunately for Gabriel, picked up an injury and is now out for the rest of the season. So it's time to move him on. Then you had Palmer who got an assist and 1 bonus point for 6 points. Bruno blanking, Salah blanking as well. Bruno with a penalty goal for 8 points. Isaac scoring for 8 points. Mamouche same. And same with Evan Nilsson scoring 9 and 8 respectively. Then Fabianski, Kluivert, and Hall all did not play. Nikolenko 2 points because they lost a clean sheet to Liverpool. So the team looks pretty solid, 52 points, small green arrow, still pushing for that top 50k finish, and I hope we'll be able to finish in those places. So this is going to be a long video. Let's jump in straight into my Game 31 wildcard draft. So for my wild card, this is how we're going to be lining up. And as I say as a disclaimer, this is not locked in. I want to make some changes before the deadline, but for now, this is what I'm thinking about. And yeah, so we have Raya in goal. I think it's a no-brainer to have Raya in net. The other goalkeepers being Pope, who I think it's someone I'm considering. Sorry. Then we have Dean Henderson as well, who is also someone I'm considering, who looks like a pretty nailed option and potential for also double game in 36. But I think the game in 36 is a bit far away. So that's why I've gone for Raya and Martinez duo. A lot of duos in there you can go for. You can just go for Ariola. What can you go to save? I think it is 0.8 million, which is something I'd consider if you want to boost somewhere else in the team. But for now, I've gone for Raya and Martinez in net, and just for the potential, just for the double game 33, that I can be able to bench boost because I'm going to be doing my bench boost that week. Then you have Munoz against Brighton. They don't have the best day out against Southampton. I was expecting them to go riot, but someone managed to pick up a draw. And from the look of things, that one did look in control for majority of that game. So yes, it's a slight concern, but with those back-to-back double games, it's a player you cannot refuse to have in your team. Then you have Livramento against Leicester. That's for potential of attacking returns. Of course, Leicester haven't scored in a while, so a clean sheet there. And of course, all these decisions are in looking at game 33 doubles and I think game 32 as well. So yeah, then you have Gvardiol against Manchester United. Not a easy fixture, but United don't score a lot of goals, and so there's a slight chance for a clean sheet there. And that's why I'm going for Gvardiol in there. And the doubles look pretty good as well. Then you have Saliba in there with I think with Gabriel getting injured. It's a no-brainer to go for Saliba. But of course, if you want to, there's a cheaper option in having Timber in there. And maybe Kivior, who might come into the team. Then now Gabriel is out for the rest of the season. Also have Ben White in there. If you're thinking about cheaper alternative, but for now, I think I'm going to be going for Saliba and hope that I can able to keep a clean sheet and remain injury free. Then we have Konza finishing off the defense. Just I know their Aston Villa defense is not looking that great. Although they keep a clean sheet in game week 30, I think for Konza it's just with an eye on the double games that are going to be coming up. Then my other consideration is maybe having Murillo in there. I think having Nottingham Forest player in there is also very good. But we know Aina don't know how the team is going to be looking like at the moment. I think Murillo just offers that solid, just the clean sheet potential with Nottingham Forest is very high. So it's someone at the back of my mind. But for now, I'm going to stick with the five defenders I have there. how are they going to be able to perform in those double games that I'm planning ahead for. That's the defense. Now let's look at the midfield. So this is how the midfield is going to be looking like. Going to be having Jacob Murphy in there against Leicester. So this one is a slight concern. I'm not so keen on having Murphy in there, and that's why I'm thinking of going for Pope instead of having Martinez in there. But now the problem is which midfielder am I going to put in that midfield position? There's a lot of things to think about. But for now, I'm pretty happy with this team. I think apart from Jacob Murphy and maybe the slight chance for Morgan Rogers as well, who I'm not very keen on because maybe of the UCL fixtures. There might be a slight rotation in there. We already saw in game week 30 that Watkins was rotated, so a slight concerns in the midfield. But for now, I'm going to just be pretty happy with that. But Murphy and Rogers might not be here by the start of game week 31, basically. So, but to be fair, Murphy and Rogers all double, but still not very keen on them. But if Gordon is back, is going to be fit. At the moment, we have had his training alone. If he's going to be fit, maybe I'll go for Gordon, who is more consistent, I'd say. But yeah, for now we have Murphy in there. We have Salah. I think it's self-explanatory. You just have to have Salah in your team at the moment, especially now we don't have Haaland in the game for quite some time. I think it's just an ideal situation to go for Salah and also to go for Saka as well. He came back, scored in his first day, although a tap in, but he still managed to score. So that will boost his confidence and his players, the other teammates' confidence are going to be seeing Saka is back. So I think that's going to be boost their confidence in the camp, and I hope that he can be able to perform. Then you have Rogers against Forest. Tough fixture in there, but with him, we're all planning for the next double. I think they're playing Southampton in game 32. So yeah, so I think it's just a good decision to have them. But I'm currently looking at having maybe Rashford in there instead of Rogers. But as I've mentioned, the rotation risk is just too much. I think Marlen maybe because not registered in the Champions League might play in the Premier League. So yeah, that's why I'm not so keen on the Aston Villa players with Champions League in mind. So yeah, then we have Sa finishing off the midfield department. I think it's either Sa or Eze, but Sa over the last few game weeks has been a little bit better, and he is also a lot more cheaper compared to Eze. But to be fair, Eze is on penalties and has been starting to pick up a little bit more form. So I think it's just up to you and your fans. But for me, with my fans and current situation, I've gone for Sa in there. And yeah, the other consideration is Elanga. Of course, back-to-back games managed to get double digits. So of course, he's a high consideration for everyone's team. But for now, I think we just did confirmed doubles and stuff. And Nottingham Forest looking more likely to double in game 36 if they beat Man City. I think in the FA Cup they'll be able to get that. But for now, I'm going to be having the five in there and hope they're going to be able to perform. But Murphy and Rogers, strong asterisks on them. But yeah, so now let's look at the forward line. So first we're going to be having Marmoush in there against Manchester United. And of course the doubles I've said countless times in these videos. So if you're having a shot for every double I say, I'm sure you're pretty drunk by now. So we're going to be having Marmoush in there. I think with no Haaland, I think it's a no-brainer. He's going to start every single game as he's he's the fittest centre forward they have at the moment. But you never know with Pep, he might conjure up some new experiment to try and fit in maybe Bernardo at striker. So there's always that slight concern, but for now, I think Mamush is going to be nailed on. Then we have Isaac against Leicester. Slight concern because he picked up a groin injury, so we don't know how long he's going to be out. But with Eddie Howe, a man who you can never read, you don't know what he's going to say. But for now, I think I'm going to have Isaac in there unless we find new news about his injury where so Isaac is there. Then you have Mateta against Brighton. Of course, he did not look very good against Southampton, although he did hit the bar, I think, once and pull up a very good stop from the Southampton goalkeeper in one of the shots. I just think he looked a little bit off pace maybe because of his injury, but I hope against Brighton, who just conceded 3 goals to Aston Villa, he can be able to perform as Crystal Palace look to bounce back, maybe pushing for that top 9, top 8. You don't know, it might give you Europe for next season. depending on how things go in the Europa and the Conference League and those kind of things. So still maybe pushing for that and hoping for that. And yeah, and they're still in the FA Cup, so a lot of things to play for there. But so my other consideration is Solanke, but Solanke is just for the Southampton fixture. So my thinking was if I bring in Solanke into the team, I'd have to take a -4 in game 33 to be able to get the most out of my bench boost. So I don't know if that is worth it to not go with Mateta for this game week and just going for Solanke. Let me know in the comments if that is something you do. But for now, I'm going to be having the three forwards in there. But Solanke is a strong consideration for the team. Just taking the -4 in game 33. But for now, I'm going to put that in the back mind and hope I don't do that. But strong consideration. What is my wildcard draft? This is how the team is looking like. I'm sure it's pretty template, but I think the midfield and the defense for everyone is a little bit shaky, apart from maybe one or two. So slight tweaks here might occur, but I think the forward line is pretty much set for everyone on their wildcard. I think it's the most used front line. So, but the others a little bit different for everyone. So yeah, as the wildcard draft, now let's look at how I'm going to be lining up for game week 31. So for game 31, this is how we're going to be lining. I'm going to be having Raya in goal against Everton. I just think there's a strong consideration for a clean sheet there compared to Aston Villa against Nottingham Forest. Then we have Munoz in there against Brighton, who just conceded 3 goals to Aston Villa. But on the flip side, Crystal Palace failed to keep a clean sheet against one of the poorest teams in the league in Southampton. So yeah, many things might happen in that game as both of them push for European football. Then you have Livramento against Leicester. I think for me, Livramento is pretty much nailed on. If you have the fans for Trippier, I think I'd go for Trippier, but I don't think the price matches the output return that he brings compared to Livramento, who can do something similar. Then you have Saliba against Everton. Hoping for a clean sheet, and now Saka is back. Maybe a cheeky corner goal, very much appreciated. Then you have Salah in there against Fulham. Maybe he's going to be my captain, but Isaac would have been my captain, but with a slight injury concern, I think I'm just going to slap it on Salah and hope that he'll be able to pick up his form. We have Saka against Everton. Looked pretty sharp when he came back from his injury. So hoping for a performance there, and hope he's going to start this time instead of coming from the bench. But if he comes from the bench, I think he's just going to be eased in back into the game. So yeah, then you have Murphy against Leicester. I think this is a high chance for him to go absolute. I think just for any Newcastle player to go on a riot there against Leicester, who have been very poor. They haven't scored a goal, I think, in around 9 matches. They look pretty shocking in front of goal. So I hope that Murphy and Coke are able to perform. Then you have Rogers against Nottingham Forest. Not the ideal fixture, but looking at it, I think it's better to start Sa in there because Nottingham Forest are very good defensively. So yeah, I think Sa has a more chance of starting. Then you have Mamouche against United. United look very bad defensively. You saw the goal against Nottingham Forest. They looked pretty shocking. So I'm sure that Mamouche and Co are going to be able to perform in that fixture. Then you have Isaac against Leicester, just the same as Murphy, of going to go riot. Hope is going to be fit for that game. And yeah, then you have Mateta against Brighton. But I'm sure they will want to bounce back. We also what happened last time. Brighton got demolished. Was it Forest? Sorry, I don't think it was Brighton. So yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. But Brighton are pushing for that top level for that European football. So you never know what's going to happen in that fixture. But I hope Mateta will be able to get an attacking return. Then on the bench we have Martinez, as I've already spoken about that. Then we have Sa against Brighton. I think who's going to be starting instead of Rogers. Then have Guardiola on the bench. Although I've said United are very poor in terms of scoring, I just think I prefer Munoz, Livramento, and Saliba to Guardiola at the moment. Then we have Konza finishing off the team. But that's the team for Game 31. That is the wildcard for Game 31. Let me know in the comments what you think about the wildcard team. And if you want to see my final team, go check out my socials. Links are going to be down in the description. It's a very long video, so if you've managed to reach this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you all guys later. Bye bye.